So you would do something as sophisticated as taking these samples of skin and applying the OS-01 peptide, applying OS-01 shield, the sunscreen, and then having samples that aren't actually protected at all and comparing the differences you see in the damage within that skin. And is that correct? And if so, could you just elaborate a little bit on how that works?
Yeah, it's exactly what you said. So basically, if I get a skin and I expose it to UV, what we will see is a increase of markers related to aging and to cellular senescence, meaning that the skins are getting to become damaged, and they can either become senescence or still proliferate and propagate some damage, which is bad because can lead to a skin cancer. And we can track those markers that are correlating with this accumulation of damage on the skin. Also, the release of inflammation. So after UV exposure, if you don't have any protection, you increase the amount of inflammation on your skin. And what this will lead is to a skin that starts to break down more collagen, which will lead to more wrinkles and sagging of the skin. So we're able to see that, okay, if I have no protection on the skin and I expose to UV, this is what's happening. So now what OS-01 is capable of doing on that skin? And now what if I add a sunscreen to that skin, how I'm protecting even more from this UV damage?
Right. Now, there's a lot to unpack there, and you've mentioned a few different terms. Let's go into those in no particular order. Let's start with senescence. Yeah. I've noticed that the language that you're using, as you understand the science better of the OS-01 peptide, to be senescence blocking. This is some key language that's emerged and describing how that peptide is working to protect the skin. So how is that related to UV damage, and what does it mean to be senescence blocking?
So senescence blocking is a term that we are using to describe our peptide. So cellular senescence is a process where the cells start to accumulate damage and they stop dividing, becoming senescent cells, secreting inflammation. And this is a regular process that happens in our body to kind of avoid the cell to become cancers. But when we are growing older, usually our immune system clears out these cells, but as we are getting older, this stops to happen and we start to accumulate those senescent cells in the skin. So they start to act like zombie cells. We wish they were dead, like that they were removed, but they are not.